And today we are very, very lucky to have a wonderful lady called Sharon from the Stroke Foundation to talk to us about why it's so important for all of us to go ahead and just put a little bit aside for incredible charities like this. So welcome
Morning,
to TVSN. Thank you so much for being here. Talk to our friends at home about the Stroke Foundation and what it means to you to be able to talk directly to them about the Stroke Foundation and donating if they can. Why is the Stroke Foundation so important to Australians?
Well, the Stroke Foundation is a national charity in Australia, and we're the only charity that's dedicated completely to stroke. Stroke is a leading cause of adult disability in Australia. It's the third biggest killer in Australia, but it's largely unknown. What's really great, a great message about stroke, is it's a largely preventable disease.
Okay.
And in this day and age, it's a very treatable disease. But the sad thing is there'll be 50,000 strokes this year in Australia. 50,000 strokes.
Wow.
That's one stroke every 10 minutes. So even in the time that we're here on air, there could be another stroke. And that's a largely preventable disease. So there's some really good things that people can know about a stroke. So I think the best thing to do is to say, what is a stroke?
Absolutely.
So a stroke is an attack on the brain.
Yes.
And it's where the blood flow to the brain actually is suddenly interrupted. So it's a sudden attack on the brain. And it's interrupted by a blood clot blocking a vessel in the brain, or a blood vessel in the brain actually bursting and blood flowing into the brain.
Sure.
In both cases,
problem.
Big, huge problem.
Yeah.
And in both cases, what you need is immediate treatment. So the thing that we want to get across to the community is how to recognise a stroke.
Yes.
And it's a really easy way to recognise a stroke.
Yes.
And the message that we want everybody to learn is the FAST message.
Fast message.
So F-A-S-T, F for face.
Yes.
So has their face drooped in any way? Is there a change in their face? Has their face drooped? A is for arms. Can they lift both arms?
Okay.
So check that they can lift both arms. S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Can they understand you?
Okay.
And T is time to call an ambulance.
Yeah,
What's
fast.
really critical is that every stroke is a medical emergency.
Yes.
So it's really critical that people call an ambulance and get that patient to hospital for treatment.
Fantastic.
If we can get people to hospital within 4.5 hours, we can treat a lot of stroke.
And you
it can
keep
make a
saying that
huge
it's
difference.
treatable. It is
It's a
treatable.
very treatable condition,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely dependent on people getting to hospital.
Okay.
So the important message to the community is the FAST message.
Okay.
Now, if we could get the community to learn the FAST message as much as they know the slip, slop, slap message, would be much better off.
Well, you're doing a good job today, darling, because we have lots of friends out there in TV land who are all of a sudden going, okay, great to know, good information. So the message today is FAST. It's an acronym that you need to stand by if you think someone may be having a stroke. You can look it up on the Stroke Foundation website. It was very clear on there when I had a look today. The idea being that we would love for you to donate if you can. Why are donations important to the Stroke Foundation?
Well, we are a charity that's completely reliant on the community to continue to support stroke survivors. We also do a lot in prevention of stroke as well. So one of the things that can really help you to prevent a stroke is blood pressure.
Okay.
So knowing your blood pressure is a really important risk factor for stroke. About 4 million Australians suffer from high blood pressure, and that's the biggest risk factor for stroke. And what we don't want is for the first indication that you have high blood pressure is when you have a stroke.
Yes.
A stroke can happen to anyone of any age, so it's really important.
Children as well?
Children have strokes.
Wow.
Babies have strokes in the womb. So it can happen to anyone of any age. 30% of strokes happen to people under 65.
Goodness.
So it can happen to anyone. So knowing that high blood pressure is a risk factor for stroke is something to get into your GP, get into a local pharmacy, check your blood pressure, and actually control it from even when you're young.
Yes. So let everybody know how easy it is to donate, because that's really important. We really want everybody to dig deep if they can. $5, $10, $2, it all helps, right?
Every cent will help the Stroke Foundation. It will help us to stop stroke, save lives and end suffering. So go to www.strokefoundation.org.au and press the Donate Now button.
There we go, everybody. So important, so imperative. That message again about FAST, what does it stand for?
Face, arms, speech, time to call an ambulance. Every stroke is a medical emergency, so don't wait, act fast.
And most of them are occurring in people under 65. I think that's extraordinary.
are under 65. 30% of strokes under 65. So don't think just because you're under 65 it won't affect you. It can affect anyone.
Goodness me, so important, and it's so lovely to have you here today to talk about the Stroke Foundation, because it's rare. We have these charities every quarter, but to have someone come in and have a conversation and make it so real for us, we really appreciate it, Sharon. So thank you, everybody. I hope you learned something, and if you can go to the Stroke Foundation, please do so. So easy to donate. You're doing something to help yourself and you're doing something to help others. One day you just might have to use that FAST acronym to go ahead and help yourself or a member of your family, or even someone walking down the street. So thank you so much. We will continue with what's in store today, and if you can, dig deep and help everybody and yourself at the Stroke Foundation.